Party City's going absolutely wild this year and showed us 10 new things that they've come out with, and I just wanted to bring it up and talk about it for a bit because I find them really cool and much better lineup than they had last year, although last year was very good. Their best thing from last year was Cackles, obviously, but that was $500, and that is a lot of money to spend on that 12-foot clown. It's been a trend recently to go bigger and bigger and bigger with all these animatronics. All these companies are competing to make the biggest things that'll sell the most, and it mostly started with the 12-foot skeleton. Well, first it was the creepy towering clown to go bigger than like 6 feet, but the 12-foot skeleton changed the game, obviously, because it's like a huge seller. Everybody has a 12-foot skeleton, or every mom that lives near a Home Depot has a 12-foot skeleton. As I mentioned earlier, Cackles was a standout for Party City last year because it was their first 12-foot thing, and this year they're going crazy because they have multiple of these things, and almost everything is above like what's normally considered life size, like 6 foot. So many things are huge in this lineup. But with no further ado, let's get into it. And let's ironically start with one of the normal sized ones, Texas Chainsaw Massacre's Leatherface. We haven't seen this character in a very long time, but now this year we're getting 3 from 3 different places, such as Lowe's selling one, Spirit Halloween selling one. We still don't know exactly what that one looks like, but you know, since we know the character, we generally know what he looks like. And Party City, of course, what we're talking about now, they're selling one. And this one looks great. I love how it looks. If Spirit Halloween's Leatherface doesn't come out super amazing, then I think that this is the strongest competitor. Dare I say, it even looks better than the old gemmy Leatherface. Now, it'll all count on the movement with this one, because competing with the old gemmy one, the big draw was the amount of movement, because almost everything moved. It turned its head, it lifted its chainsaw, it just everything. This one should have really good movement, and I'm super excited about that. Unfortunately, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't have a great reference point if there are other things to talk about it, but it looks creepy, it looks cool. I like it. Anyways, next one, the 12-foot Windigo. Again, with different companies releasing the same thing this year, Home Depot released a Windigo as well, and it was less than well received because of its face. It looked very cartoony. It looked more like a Christmas reindeer than a Windigo, but its body looked amazing. Although it wasn't Windigo-y, it was very muscular. Usually when people think of a Windigo, they think of this kind of slender, creepy creature. Lucky for us, it's our birthday, and we got a slender, creepy creature. Except this one is 12 feet tall. Usually it's not depicted that big, but I think it's fine. It works well enough. Obviously, they're just trying to make it tall to compete with the other tall, big things. Other than that, I like its look a lot. Like, it's got that classic deer skull for a head. And since it's usually depicted in the forest, and because it's so big, it's got this moss all over its shoulders and arms, and vines coming down from there. Luckily, we have videos of this thing, and I didn't expect much movement since it's a 12-footer. All the, big expectations are in its size, really. And that's really what we got. It just moves its head. I don't think that it's servo, even though it has a kind of funny rotation to it. I think that it's just a very particularly angled motor that turns the head in a certain way. Anyways, to close that off, I like it a lot, but I don't think that I'll buy it. But it is miles better than what Home Depot gave us. Next off, we have the Towering Pumpkin Creep, which I like its design a lot. It's very appealing. From all that we know, all it does is stand there, its face glows, and it just kind of does that. This one is also 12 feet tall, and there isn't much more to say about it. It is one of the more basic designs, although its sculpts are amazing. I personally wouldn't be getting this because I already own the Inferno pumpkin skeleton from Home Depot. And also, I don't generally like the use of cloth and 12-foot animatronics because I'm just too anxious about wind catching it, making it look bad, or making it fall over. It could be as stable as ever. I just don't really like it as much as fully molded bodies, which is obviously more expensive. If this one is a really good price, I could imagine this being extremely popular for Halloween costumes. Not for Halloween costumes, for Party City. Next one we've got is the Dropdown Scarecrow. This thing is 9 feet and suddenly drops down to scare unsuspecting passerbys. At least that's its description. So that means that it goes down fast and it's 9 feet tall. That is something that I really want to see. I think that almost all the Scarecrow animatronics these days kind of missed the point of what makes a scarecrow really creepy, and that's the lifelessness, the kind of unintentionally very scary thing. It's got to look not alive and make people paranoid that it is alive, and when it moves, that's terrifying. This one looks very sinister and just like angry and evil, very generic kind of evil villain character. I don't find that scary, but its size might make up for it because it is, again, 9 feet tall. There isn't a lot more that I'd like to say about this scarecrow. I can't wait to see a video of this. Much like all these other animatronics, I'd love to see videos of these. Anyways, the next one, the Mega Wolf. That is quite the name, but this one is 9.5 feet tall, which is a little bit taller than the scarecrow was, and it snaps its jaws and bares its teeth while snarling and lunging. So this is a big animatronic that also lunges. Now all that movement is very impressive for an animatronic of that size. My one big takeaway here though is its clothes. They're extremely unappealing to me because it is just a blank green shirt with some green creepy cloth strung over it very loosely. Its arms are in a very awkward position. That probably has to do with its animation. But this one interests me a lot just overall. I want to see a video of it especially. Next! Now this one, depending on its price, I might get. This is a Frankenstein's monster type character, and emphasis on the type character because it's not Frankenstein's monster himself. This variation has longer hair that goes off to the side, and just about everything else looks like Frankenstein. I do appreciate that it's not Frankenstein himself, although I love classic Halloween stuff. We're gonna get into that soon with another animatronic coming up. But this one I would put in my lab area with Mutant and Cold Hate because he looks like a kind of character who was experimented on and tested and whatnot, because he's got these chains on his wrists. So he could fit into a theme like that. He also kind of looks like a zombie because he's green, it's Frankenstein. So he could kind of fit into a swampy kind of area or a zombie wasteland. I think that they kind of nailed it with the design, because it could fit in a lot of places. It's a very kind of put it anywhere Halloween animatronic. Again, depending on its price, it could be an extremely good seller. By the way, this one is 7.5 feet tall. Just thought I should mention that. Next is the Neon Ice Cream Clown. Now, surprisingly, this is the only clown in their lineup so far, and it's 6 feet tall. This is a pretty simple animatronic overall. It's kind of like a taller Hugs reskin, except instead of wearing the sign around his neck, he's holding a free ice cream sign in his left hand and holding an ice cream cone in his right hand. And he's offering ice cream instead of hugs to people. I really like the color palette on him. He's very vibrant. His whole thing is being neon, so he's got these kind of light tubes that go around all these parts on him. It's hard to tell from the photo, but he's got it and he glows. Those are kind of all my thoughts on this one. It's kind of short. I think that most clowns are kind of, they speak for themselves and their own looks. We've seen a billion clowns and he's another clown. This next one I like a lot. This is the Bloody Ghost Treater, and he's 3 feet tall, the smallest in the bunch. And I really enjoy when it's like the other side of Halloween, when it's the trick-or-treaters instead of the monsters. It's very interesting. This is one that I would like to get. You could put it in, I don't know, it would just look good anywhere. I don't know how to really describe what exactly I like so much about this. It's very detailed, that's for one. It's just got that classic Halloween aesthetic, and I'm in love with the classic Halloween aesthetic. Just like green witches with black hats and a cauldron with green goo inside. Kids in ghost costumes. But just in concept, I like it a lot. And depending on the price, I would probably get it. I'm hoping that it's very cheap because it is really small. I don't even know what it does. Hopefully either it does something really cool or it's just a static. I'd be fine with it being a static, honestly. It's good for skit material too, because you know I make comedy skits sometimes on my channel, and this thing would be easy to puppet around and make something funny with. This is the second to last one, the Possessed Pumpkin Patch. It's 9 feet, and I think that they already released one that's better, and it's in this lineup, the Towering Pumpkin Creep. This is just that, but shorter. Although 9 feet is still extremely tall. But looks-wise, I think it's a huge downgrade from the Towering Pumpkin Creep. It feels like filler compared to everything else. Like they had a bunch of parts, and so they decided to make an animatronic with it and release it in their lineup. We still don't know what it does, so maybe some insane movement will save it. But for now, it just kind of exists. It's there. I don't have a lot to say about it. Let's move to the next one, the last one. This final one is the Lunging Black Angel of Death, and this is 6.9 feet tall. I don't know if that's counting to the height of the top of its wings or the top of its head. I'm gonna assume the wings because that's how they usually measure things. They overcompensate by measuring to the highest point of like maybe a hat or like super tall hair or something. But we see Reaper type characters a lot, like a lot. We just saw the Angel of Death from Home Depot, and it's got wings too, and its wings look better. Now, unlike the Angel of Death, which only turned its head, this one lunges forward, which, again, I want to see videos of these things. Considering its height, it wouldn't be all that impressive of a thing. All that's really going for is its look. I like the texture on its cloths. That's something cool. But other than that, it's like another Reaper with wings. It's cool and all, but like I really enjoy the freshness that we've gotten with the Bloody Ghost Treater or the Frankenstein guy or even the Windigo. This one seems like another kind of filler thing, although it is a lot more impressive than the Pumpkin Patch guy in looks. But overall, I'm super excited for the Party City lineup this year. A lot of it is really cool in my opinion. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours, and I'll see you in the next video.